My name's Sharon. I'm here at Garland's. I'm one of the pest control people. So if you have a pest problem on one of your plants, usually if you bring it in, I'm the one that will help you with it. Today we're going to talk about slugs and snails. Some people really don't know the difference. Some people maybe have never even actually seen a slug. I'm always surprised when a gardener hasn't seen one, but I have some samples right here. This is a slug. This particular slug, even though he's not really black, is a black slug. He's from Europe and he's kind of a invasive species. He was introduced. And this is the damage they do. This is to a hosta. This is what the leaf should look like, minus this hole. And then I have some friends over here. These are hard-shelled snails. These are also an invasive species. Excuse how foamy he is. I upset him a little bit. They're here on this clematis. If you'll notice, the clematis has very few leaves. They have been grazing on it. One thing people don't always realize about slugs and snails is that they're very good climbers. These guys have been climbing up here and eating all the flowers and leaves on this plant for quite a few weeks. I bought a tray of zinnias because I love the look of zinnias. Unfortunately, slugs and snails love the look of zinnias, and my tray looked like this a couple days after I got it. So they're a real problem, and this year with all the rain, this has been really a bad year for slugs and snails. They're loving this weather. The days haven't been hot enough to make them go hide, and it's been rainy and moist enough that their food is just growing well, and you've got a lot of fresh growth, and it's kind of what they love. So there's really a few ways you can get rid of slugs and snails in your garden. I personally just hand pick them and get rid of them. It's kind of disgusting. Snails not so bad, because if you pick up a snail, you know, he's got a nice dry shell and he's not that hard to pick up. Slugs, a lot more disgusting. You want to use like tongs or something to pick them up. And then you can throw them in a bucket of soapy water and they will drown, and you can dump them out later and be rid of them if you want to do it completely in a natural way. If you prefer to just put some bait out and not have to even think about them, we have a couple of choices here. We have a product called Sluggo Plus. There's also a product called Sluggo. We're out of it right now and seem to be having trouble getting it back in stock. Sluggo only kills slugs and snails. Sluggo Plus contains a spinosad, which also kills other little creatures like earwigs and pillbugs and things that will also damage your plants. Usually the earwigs and pillbugs and things will do damage to your plant after the slug has started it. So this is a good product to just kind of clean the slate and get rid of all the little nasty critters. Sluggo and Sluggo Plus are fairly safe to use around your pets. I mean, you certainly wouldn't want your dog to just get into this and just help himself and eat a whole lot of it out of a container. But if you're sprinkling it on the ground and he goes by and picks up a few little pellets, you don't have to rush him to the vet. You may have to shampoo your carpet, but you probably aren't going to have to rush him to the vet. This bait, they eat it and they kind of crawl away and die. It gives them an upset stomach and they crawl away and you don't see them, and they just stop feeding and then eventually die. So it's a little slower to act, but you stop seeing damage fairly quickly once they've been eating. We have a couple of other products that you might be more familiar with, Deadline and Slug and Snail Bait. These products contain metaldehyde, which is extremely toxic to slugs and snails. They will eat it, and it messes with their nervous system so they can't crawl, and they'll lay around in the grass or wherever after they've eaten it and dry out in the sun. Now, if it's pouring down rain and they eat this, they can actually recover from it, but usually you see a lot of dead slugs and snails. Both of these baits are toxic to animals. You have to be careful where you put them so dogs and other wildlife can't get a hold of them. The pellets tend to be more attractive to animals than the liquid. That's why they make a liquid. This can be it's a gray, kind of ugly looking liquid, but you kind of put it along around under your plants. And dogs don't tend to like the gooey liquid. They tend to be more interested in pellets. So if you have a pet, you might want to go with the liquid. You could also put a board over it to kind of keep the dogs out, but slugs will go under the board. This guy seems to like the slug bait. You can see he's attracted to the box and has left his leaf behind. He's trying to figure out how to get into the box right now. So it's a pretty effective, it has a very effective attractant in it. Snails. One last bite for slugs. I don't know how to get into the box.